a yoga instructor. I have my own venture by the name Nira Wellbeing. Promote yoga as not just a fitness option, but an option of well-being. It's not to provide something at a cheaper cost. No, that is not the aim. It is to encourage people to make it a part of their lifestyle. Come from an army background. My father was also in the army. My mother's father has also served. My mother's grandfather has also served. So there's a whole ecosystem in our own home. But I remember this my own commanding officer asking me that why, what is the biggest challenge for you as an officer? Challenge for any officer is to stay inspired. I'm clear with one thing. I'm destined to serve my country and my people.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Rising Tides, where we talk about the change makers, the people who are making a strong impact on the society. With me, Himanshu Tyagi. Today, we are going to speak with an army veteran turned Government of India certified yoga instructor, Fit India ambassador, the founder of Nira Wellness, the very cheerful and charming Major Neeti CJ. So, please tell us something about yourself. What are you currently doing?
So presently, I'm a yoga instructor. I have my own venture by the name Nira Wellbeing, and we have formed this venture to promote yoga as not just a fitness option, but an option of well-being. Now, generally, we very casually relate fitness to be the sign of good health, right? But good health is much, much more than that, and that is the reason we started this venture. Um, that is what I've been doing for the last 2 years now. After leaving army, I was a consultant for a risk management firm for 2 years, and thereafter now I'm into yoga.
Wonderful. So, you just mentioned about Nira by Neeti. And
Yeah.
just before connecting with you, I was checking the website and I
Mm-hmm.
saw the pricing on the option, the yoga sessions is so affordable. So affordable is
Yeah.
and so how is that going? How are how are the people reacting to it and how are the sessions given?
The reason why we priced it, whatever you see of it, I'm glad that you say that it is affordable, but it is basically uh, i- to draw people from all various backgrounds, especially working professionals. Even if you see our beginners is a very very minimal charge because we have lots and lots of senior citizens coming to us. So if we don't want them to poof off their savings into of course yoga is important, yoga is necessary for them, but I'm very sure at their age they would not like to invest too much into monetarily into things, typically how our predecessors are. So
Right,
keeping
right.
that in mind, and many of them are teachers, many of them are from the education background. So we did a lot of market survey on this aspect as to who's gonna be our audience. I even have many students coming in. Now, for a student to take out even 500 per month is a big thing. They have to ask their parents. They might be earning, they might not be earning. If they are earning, then also it's a big thing for them. You know, although our packages and everything has gone up in our country, the inflation rates are also like that, right? So,
Right.
uh, it is not to provide something at a cheaper cost. No, that is not the aim. It is to encourage people to make it a part of their lifestyle. Yoga is a medium for them to clean themselves mentally, physically, emotionally, depending on what they are carrying as a baggage. And I somehow feel that tool should not be so unreachable or unaffordable. because today's world needs it very, very much. What we are seeing, we have a whole lot of generational trauma with us. We carry it with every generation we are carrying. We get unloaded something, but we do load ourselves with so many things, right? So that is the whole concept behind Nira. That is why the concept of well-being, I keep pushing in well-being. I keep pushing in the concept of yogic management because see, therapy is okay. Like, you can go for therapy, get it done once. But there are many deeper things in us which is reoccurring, right? Let's take the
Right.
patterns in our life. They keep reoccurring, right? There are many learnings when things occur repeatedly. So when things reoccur, we can't expect people to always fall back to therapy. So that is why we have created these modules called yogic management, where people first understand why a certain disease or a certain medical condition is happening to them. Because if they understand these basic rudimentary things and they start working on that first, they don't need to go for too much of therapy and all this stuff.
Right.
The only person, our master always says, the only person who can heal is you or a medical doctor. So unless you go to that extreme situation. Today, if you won't believe, although if you see a customer base might not be that large, but whatever it is a recurring customer base of nearly 100%.
And above that, I also feel because this is not a business which has profit as the core concept or the
Yes.
own reason. So you will also
Yeah.
get a lot of people through word of mouth, which is more important, which actually becomes a repetitive customer. Even if the person is, let's say, there's a
Hmm.
student that's coming to you, and in the future that student goes to someplace else, but that student will
Hmm.
always keep you
Hmm.
in his memory, and will always
Hmm.
talk positive and spread the positive word about you, because he's got that impact. वो कहते हैं ना कि नीयत बहुत मायने रखती है किसी भी काम के पीछे. Question, the next question that I have for you is that
Sure.
back in 2009, you donned the
Mhm.
olive greens. What made you choose to join the army and serve the nation?
So 2009, I joined the training academy. That was the first time I wore the olive greens, and trust me, that feeling is definitely, beyond words. You know. So I come from an army background. My father was also in the army. My mother's father has also served. My mother's grandfather has also served. So there's a whole ecosystem in our own home where everything, every moment you are breathing, drinking, and eating the military way. I would say,
Right.
right. But at the same time, I feel that dreams are more individual to a person. We might have inspiration outside, and trust me, we have a lot of these days. It's much more. Definitely, our times had lesser, but it was very young at age that that something in me told very deeply, like that this is your place. You are destined to be in the uniform. That thing was very deep in me. It was not just a dream, it was not just a vision, it was so much more than that, I would say. Probably not, I don't have a right word for that. But it was like a seed to manifest, I would put it across. So at a very young age, I think so, I was probably 10, 11, that I thought that I want to be in the uniform. And of course, the color wasn't decided then, but that when life unfolds itself to you, you realize, oh, maths mere liye nahi hai. Okay, this is not for me. You start doing that negation. Okay, what's for you? What's not for you? So and of course, the army at that time did not have the CDS exam. So CDS exam started only in 2007. So when the opportunities are also unfurled by the institution, your dreams kind of You see ways and means how to fulfill them. So I was like, oh, thank God we have a competitive exam now. Had it been based on my merit list, तब तो बड़ा ही मुश्किल मामला होता. Because I was a, I was a typical sports student, you know. So you can just imagine there is so much recreational activities going on, sports, debate, this, that, and topping amidst all this is definitely out of question, right? So we were a very, acceptably average student, but love to interact in different platforms and different, wherever possible, represent your institution. So this has been always. I was in NCC also.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I still remember there's this my best friend. She always says, "Ki you have cleared your graduation and masters because of me. You should give me credit because she used to make all my practical notes. Trust me." I was like, "Oh, please do it." In fact, I gave my master's exam from academy. I took a 1 day leave and came and gave the exam.
Okay.
So yes, so the dream, the seed was always there. It was just that the more as life progressed, it just became more and more crystallized. And I am really grateful to have a family who supported me in this journey. Although my dad was like, "Why you want to get into the same race as me?" But it's I said, see, it's my journey, and probably I want this to be a part of that.
Right. So, any
Yeah.
any memorable moment from your service that helped you shape the perspective of your life that you're living today?
I think so. The entire academy training is one. It is the core foundation. And if you haven't invested in yourself during that period, during the whole preparation period and then training, I think so. You are not justifying the whole presence as an officer in the Indian Army. Right. So that plays a very crucial role because you're shaping yourself uh,
Mhm.
into into this personality. And like I recently, of course, whenever the talk comes out, you can hear that in the TEDx talk also I mentioned. I'm just going to give this wee bit conversation because it's not yet out. Um, but I remember this my own commanding officer asking me that why what is the biggest challenge for you as an officer? And I said that the biggest challenge, I mean, I gave whatever answers I gave. And he then said that the biggest challenge for any officer is to stay inspired. And that's one of the key takeaways I've given in my talk also. Because you see that changed my entire life's direction very differently. You were probably thinking that, acha, now you have become an officer, now you have to do your promotional exam, now you have to go
Mhm.
for your course, do well there. You have got into that typical race of the professional requirements.
Right.
And where's the essence? You know,
Mhm.
then you're getting into the cycle. Then you have submitted to the usual cycle.
Mhm.
And that's where you have to break it. And you can only break it if you have keep yourself inspired, keep your focus on what is expected from you as an officer.
Right. Right. So, after serving the Indian Army, what
Hmm.
inspired your decision to pursue an MPhil in Defense and Strategic Studies, become a certified yoga instructor, and take on the role of Fit India ambassador?
So I have kept this thing very clear that, and I'm taking you back to my days when I was preparing for my SSB. I cleared my SSB in the third attempt. So in the second attempt, after the second attempt, I didn't make it in that. I came home. My mother was like, "So what's next?" I said, "I'm going for the third attempt." She was like, "Okay, that's fine, but what if not? It doesn't happen." So after the second attempt, I said, "See, ma, I'm clear with one thing. I am destined to serve my country and my people. That is for sure. It doesn't matter to me whether I'm in uniform, whether I'm an IAS officer, an IPS, or maybe just a school teacher, or maybe not even that, and maybe I'm teaching music to someone. Anything it can be from the under the sun. But I'm very sure I will contribute in a way that the society gets back whatever it should I should be doing as a citizen of this country. So that was very clear. So I think so this is the core essence of my inspiration. Whatever I pick up, one might see this as very random, that she's doing MPhil, then she's into yoga, then she's a Fit India ambassador. But at the end of the day, when you take the person as Niti CJ, she's encompassing all the possible ways she can to do for her country and its people. It's as simple as that. And that cannot be defined in one activity or two activities.
Right.
Okay. And every learning is a phase of life. It need not be connected. It can be connected.
So, our last question for you today is going to be, what advice do you have for young individuals aspiring to join the military or pursue careers in defense and strategic studies?
Firstly, they have to see, so army or the armed forces has a very different typical requirements. They are not the usual requirements in any other job description. This job description is very different because probably it is not a job first. It is a way of life that you will be leading. So the first thing I want to tell all people aspiring to get into the defense forces or into the defense sector is, you need to understand that it is a way of life. It is not a job requirement. Let's talk of defense forces first, then we'll probably go to how they can go for defense sector. So if somebody wants to join the defense forces, this has to be the core requirement. Secondly, today we have technology at our use. Today there is a lot of information. I mean, we didn't have Google, we had nothing when we were joining the forces, right? Today's generation is also smart. Just sit, introspect, and see that are you really made for this organization? And I'll tell why. Because the moment they think that, okay, I need to acquire this job or I need to be in this job, they have lost the game. They should see it from the perspective that how can I contribute when I join this profession? Take that approach, they will be more satisfied. The moment they think that by hook or by crook, I have to clear the interview, I have to become an officer, when these are your superficial goals, then life is very difficult in the armed forces, because every day you will see life and death situation, every single day. Whether you are on the border, whether you are not on the border, those are very secondary things. The time and space has nothing to do in this. The sheer fact that you are in a uniformed service will make your daily life a very different one from others. So are you prepared? Because some children usually say that, when I ask them why you want to join the force, they say, I want to wear the uniform. Okay, so that gets fulfilled the day you get commissioned. You are at the uniform. What next? So some people will say, no, we want adventure. So my answer is, then you can't be sent always for an adventure activity. Who will do the daily tasks, the daily requirements of the unit? Who will fulfill those things for your battalion? You can't be always sent for mountaineering or all these stuff. Then they also say that, to serve the country. Now, to serve the country is good, but to serve the country is a very wider perspective. Here, you will not be serving the country directly. You will be serving the people. So keep that human approach. The people you are with will not be as educated as you. You have to lead 200 men, 200 different minds in the era of technology with 200 phones. There's so much that. So responsibility is something they should look at, and not the pays and the perks and the privilege that comes with becoming an officer. If they keep these goals, then it will be very, very difficult for them. And the third thing I would say is that if you are suitable, if you have all the prerequisites, you will be selected. You don't have to get into unnecessary coaching, training, this, that, because that is not going to, that might help you to clear the exams, to clear the interviews, but that doesn't make you a good officer. And the goal is to become a good officer. So be honest to your preparation. Don't find shortcuts. Be honest to your preparation and try avoiding too much of coaching and all, because it will not be showing the correct picture of you. And trust me, whether you clear the interview or not, I feel every Indian citizen should once go through the Service Selection Board interview, because it's a good mirror to show you how, the real person you are.
Ma'am,
And
do
talking
you
about
feel? So I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, please continue.
Out of curiosity, this came in. Do you feel that joining the services or going through that academy training for a year or two, should that kind of become a mandate for the younger generation? Because nowadays everything is changing drastically, especially with a lot of technology coming in. The physical activities have already lowered. Plus, when we talk about physical activity, the physical activity are there. They're not just physical activity. It involves everything: mental,
Yes.
physical, emotional. All aspects are involved. And I've always heard, and we all have heard that the training module itself is so life changing, that if even I feel that even if a person goes and takes that training, and even if the person decides not to serve the country, that training itself will transform that particular person. So do you think that
Correct.
it should
And
at a
then that
moment in time?
quality of
Right. Please.
that quality of serving the country will innately come in you. That
Absolutely.
because right. So nobody has to tell you what is to be done. I mean, if we see how the policy of Agniveer is coming up, and there are different policy changes that are happening. I think so. They are some way subtly encouraging the same. Where more youth get the opportunity to be part of this organization.
Right.
If it is possible in terms of infrastructure, in terms of training, that much space, that much all these things, and then I feel it should. I mean, we can't make it mandatory because we are a democratic country, but should be encouraged, because it will at least bring in more civic sense. At least will bring in more. What do you say? A sense of belongingness. Yeah, a sense of belongingness will come in. There will be sense of responsibility comes in. More purposeful decisions you will take in life. You will not be blindly passionate about something, but you will be more goal oriented, and you will, and somewhere in all your in whatever gambit of profession you choose, your nation will be a part of it automatically. I think so that difference is needed, because our country is very volatile in present scenario, with the global changes happening, the boundaries being redefined, defined, blurred. We need that. We definitely need that.
Wonderful. On that note, Major Neeti, thank you so much. I really thank you for taking out time. It was wonderful speaking to you. We'll keep looking for more opportunities where we can reconnect with you again and again. And thanks a lot for your time. You have a wonderful day.
Same here. Wish you a very happy day ahead. And thanks for doing this initiative. It's really amazing to be part of it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode of Rising Tides. This is Himanshu Tyagi signing off. We'll be back with more. See you soon.